The behavior of today's society is shameful, total shame for our motherland, Kenya. Men have turned into monsters. Look at me, brother. Look at me, sister. So young and fragile. Yet I pray. Yes, I pray. I pray for Mr. Monster, waiting to defile me. Why not leave me alone instead of messing me up? My bones are weak. My flesh is still tender. Yet you want to tear me apart. Lust, ignorance, and pretense are your weapons. Shame. I cry to you, you, and you. I need your help. I need your assurance that this awful behavior will stop. Protect this delicate species. Protect the girl child.
A story to share with you, a story that touches my heart. Peter is a 5-year-old, a second born in a family of 2 children who live in Nairobi with their mother. Peter is your ordinary 5-year-old who loves to play with his toys, his favorite being his newly acquired toy car. And I mean, he could not wait for school holidays when he could have all the time to play. On a fine Wednesday morning, a little warmer than usual, Peter took whatever little breakfast the mother had prepared for them, and at 10 a.m. walked out of the house with his toy proudly tucked under his arm. He looked around for his playmates, and after some few minutes, it was full house. All the kids were there, and Peter was good to go. He was going to have a brilliant day. It was all play with running around, hide and seek, and the joy of ambushing a hiding mate. By the way, hide and seek, I'm still the defending hide and seek champion. See, this is one game where you hide away from your friends completely. You have to hide yourself. You should never be discovered. And being a very active boy, Peter gave himself a well-deserved break. So he turned a corner between the closely spaced lamp houses, away from the very watchful eyes of his playmates. And now that they were not seeing him, after a while he went to respond to a call of nature. And just when he was done, he heard a familiar voice call him. So he turned around. Then he let his guards down, seeing that it was Baba Carol, one of his playmates' father. But by the way, they were still playing with Carol. And so after the usual pleasantries, mama yuko aje, yuko salama. Mlipika chapati lini? Hatujapika chapati, lakini anko atalete chapati. You know those kawaida things. It's a 5-year-old. So Baba Carol, after all that, dragged Peter to a secluded place. He undressed the innocent child and proceeded to defile him. An ordeal that Peter has to live with for the rest of his life. After that, Baba Carol just dressed up and led Peter to go and join the rest of the group, where his own daughter was. When Peter returned, his mates were alarmed to see blood oozing from his legs. They inquired to know what was wrong. Ni nini Peter? Kwani umefanya? That's when the pain got the better of his courage, and he broke down to tears. His mates, alerted neighbors who were noticing Peter was bleeding from his backside, decided to rush him immediately to the nearest clinic. After preliminary examinations, Peter was immediately rushed to the Nairobi Women's Hospital. This is where Peter underwent a 3-hour operation to repair his damaged rectum, which at the time could not pass stool. The little angel has to use at least 6 colostomy bags a day to pass stool for the next 6 weeks before a closure can be done. The sad bit is, it is not guaranteed that Peter will regain his bowel functions. And every 3 weeks, Peter will have to visit the doctors who will assess the healing process. His holidays are ruined. He cannot play with his mates. He's mostly in the house bedridden, still clutching to his toy car. Friends, that's the tragedy that befell Peter during the holidays that he was so much looking forward to. Peter's doctors tell me that, were it not for this operation, Peter would be no more. Peter's mother, for all the love that she has for her son, cannot afford to pay for the cost of the operation, which runs to tens of thousands of shillings. She is but a casual laborer struggling to make ends meet. But once again, thanks to the Gender Violence Recovery Center, Peter continues to get the much needed treatment. This free service is only made possible when you and I contribute generously. And with our generous contribution, the center helps not only babies like Peter, but many others, men, women, and children survivors of sexual and domestic violence. Kindly make your contribution by visiting the center and support survivors and families to heal.
It's time to take action. Let's protect the children and women. Every woman must be safe, and the man must be strong. So woman nature to be safe. Come on, everybody, listen to me now. Have we lost our senses? We can't walk free in the streets, especially our women and children. These criminals must be brought to justice, and rape has to stop. Thank you.